Welcome to the New Media Lab. It is Social Media Mondays. Yes, we have a new show on this feed. We're going to talk all social media here. It's tied into new media. So it's all integrated. We definitely have to spend some time talking about news, talking about different things that you can use as a content producer, as a new media person. And I am not an expert on this. I poke around, I work on it all the time, but I have great people that work with me, and I have a co-host that is amazing. Lilith, you were a guest on New Media Lab. Now you're a host with me. Lilith Hellfire, everybody.
Hey guys, so happy to be here. I have so much to say about social media and, being a content producer and all that it entails, especially if you're independent. You can get swallowed up whole really quick.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, and each one of the areas of social media, I feel like I spent so much time learning about just that one little aspect. And then I go on to the next one, and then I go on to the next one, and then I go back and I go, oh, I need to relearn this, or I didn't know this was happening. We've got stuff in the news today that I had a lot of really positive things to say about something, and the whole field changed in the last couple days.
Yeah.
But before we jump into that, hey, Lilith, let's do this right up front. Give your social media links. Where can people find you? Where can they ask questions? I want to get that up front, and we'll put it at the end again, and we'll put it in the show notes, everybody, so don't worry. So, Lilith, where can they find you?
Okay, if you are on Twitter, you can find me at Lilith Hellfire. If you're on Tumblr, it's lilithhellfire.tumblr, and you can email me at lilithhellfire@lilithhellfire.com.
Excellent. And then, as I've said before, you can reach me at rsouthgate. I will be establishing a New Media Lab Twitter account in the future, but right now we're just using mine. And I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram, and I'm basically everywhere. Either follow me personally or look for Southgate Media Group or any number of the show names. We've got 87 of them. So, all right, Lilith, let's jump into it. You had a new, should we call it a platform or just an app?
It used to be more than just an app. Unfortunately, it just went through like a rebranding of sorts, but we can call it an app, but it's also a platform because you can use it on a website.
Okay. Well, it's an app form. And Lilith, I didn't know this one. So why don't you tell us about it, and then we can talk about, I experimented with it. I want to tell you what I found. So go ahead.
Okay. I originally discovered About.me about 3 years ago. And it was really awesome. It was, for me, it looked like it could have been a LinkedIn killer because, I mean, I like LinkedIn, don't get me wrong, but my goodness, do they email you a lot.
Yeah. Well, that and you find a lot of people on LinkedIn are using it just as a resume, and then you get like loaded with the stuff that's just resume. It's like, well, I'm not really getting as much social out of it. It's not the tool I want it to be, even though I like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I get what you're saying.
So originally that's what I was kind of using About.me for was, it's a great place to put up your web portfolio. And it also had a lot of great social interactions. People could look at your profile. If you were a podcaster and they were a podcaster, you guys were in the same area, they'd be like, oh yeah, here. But now they kind of just recently went through it. And AOL bought them out when they were in a startup, which was like a good sign for me that this was going to go some places. And the people that started it, the founders, really still were very passionate about it and stuck around where, most startups, if they get bought out by a place like AOL, as soon as they're allowed to go, they go, which is a bad sign. But they stuck around, and it's still a really pretty kind of app/website to use. They have a influencer category if you look around on the bottom of the website and stuff, and I think it's a really nice place to just kind of, if you don't code, you don't want a website, you can just kind of put all your information up, your resume, your social media stuff, and just who you are as a person.
Now I might be using this incorrectly, so I want to go through it. I'm on About.me. I set a page up, and everything you're saying, I mean, maybe is that in the pro section, or is it available anywhere? Because you were just saying that, look at the links at the bottom. Basically, here's what my experience was. And before it sounds like I'm bashing it, I am not. There's something I really like here. Okay. But I have a giant picture of myself. You put your picture on, and it put this big picture of me. It has the bio, my name, I did put in, like, I do, this is stuff I really like. I like how you had to pick your categories. You put in your work, your education, and then some social media links. But I don't quite understand what to do with this, because when I look at this, it just looks kind of like a calling card. It's almost like setting up a bio page on a website. Now, you're saying you can connect with people. You can find other podcasters or other bloggers. Where?
See, this is the thing that they recently just changed, unfortunately. But the thing that you can use, if, like I said, if you don't want to code or you want to, you can use this as an actual, like, about me page on your website.
Okay.
You know, if you just have a bare bones. But if you
so it's not a social thing anymore, then, is what you're saying.
Well, yeah, it's not. But they will email you with, like, influencers, and you can, if you log out and go to just aboutme.com without being logged in, if you look at the bottom and you go to the blog and the link that says blog, and right across it, it should say, like, influencers or something like that. And that's really cool. Fun. Like, that's the list of, like, cool people. And they have, like, categories like college kids and stuff like that. It changes every 2 weeks, I think, if I remember right.
Okay, so I'm on the regular About Me page right now. Just about .me.
Yep, so go all the way down to the bottom where you see, like, the links for blogs, for the blog and stuff like that.
I don't see that. See, this is the problem I was having with it. I know you were excited about it, and I did jump into it, made my profile, and thought, wow, this looks good. I'm going to share this. I like it. I think it looks really professional, but I don't see how to use the tool necessarily. I don't see blogs on here either. I do see a thing that says
blog, like their main blog, but then there's like a little, you see, like, on the bottom across, there should be like something down there.
Oh, I see that little tiny thing that says blog.
Is there another link down there?
No, but this looks really nice. It does. It's a really nice site. Now, how would you use this as somebody who's, I mean, obviously with what we do, we're always trying to get attention, bring noise to what we're doing. I see this as a tool as far as making a nice calling card. But what would you do with it? How would this benefit you?
Okay, what I do, because I originally started using this when I first started back into DJing and stuff like that. And so if you have hashtags in your profile, you can click that hashtag and it takes you to other people that do blogging or podcasting and things like that. That's the social aspect of it. That's what I was looking for.
Oh, okay. So that's it. You put that in your bio?
Mm-hmm. Did you do that by chance?
No. If you look at mine, you've been to mine, correct?
Yes.
Well, anybody can look. It's about.me/Rob Southgate. If you go to that, I've got my bio in there. I've got my picture. I've got basically everything you can set up. I'm going to add some more social links to it. But you're saying in that bio section, add some hashtags. Now, I don't have
Go to mine and you'll see what I'm talking about. About.me /Little Hellfire. And you can see that I have DJing, blogging, podcasting, writing, and vlogging as my little extra things for people to find me. All
right, I'm looking at it. See, yours looks completely different than mine. So I like this.
So if you click on any of those, and you'll see people that are in the communities that you're interested in.
Oh, that explains things. So for the listener, this is actually a pretty cool tool for networking. This is really more about networking than it is about anything else, if you want to look at it that way. So I just clicked on yours. Nice page. I clicked on podcasting and it brought up different people that do podcasting. And now, like, let's see, who do I have on here? Somebody I might know. Nobody on this first page. So we're just going to pick Stephen Penny. It says he's a podcaster out of Finland. And I go to his page and it has his basic information. All right. And then from there, I can connect with him on social media. I can reach out to him. It gives me a way of networking with somebody. Now, have you ever gotten somebody that said, hey, I found you on about.me?
Yes, back in the day, right before they changed it to, the reason why they changed this is because they were making an app, and so they wanted it to be lighter, faster, and a little more, it's an Android platform word. That's why they kind of rearranged it, did everything that they did was specifically for the app to make it easier and lighter. But yeah, I actually used to, like, when I first started using it, I would get lots of hits because of the hashtags that I have. And earlier on in my podcasting career, I didn't have a permanent podcasting partner. So this is what I would actually use to, like, find people in, you know, other forums and stuff like that.
Well, I'm thinking about it now in terms of looking for guests, or you know, with us, with our network. Number one, we have people all over the world, basically. So you could, I'm seeing right now, just on this page, I hit podcaster, I see somebody from Tunisia, I see somebody from Canada, I see somebody from Oregon, I see Portugal. So, I mean, like, this is a pretty wide cut, which is great. If we wanted to connect people, like I have a new podcaster in the UK. I could look up podcasters, look for anybody in the UK. If I wanted to connect them, I could send them that way. That is a really great tool. I actually like this quite a bit. Now that you've shown me this, I just wish that they made it a little more obvious, because I had to go all the way to the bottom of the page to a little tiny thing that said blog before I found this.
Yeah, that is the main thing, because you're supposed to be working on you really for this. Like you said, it's like basically a calling card, but it does have some pretty cool networking features. I wish they made it a little more straightforward. They used to back in the day make it a little more straightforward. I don't think a lot of new people are adapting to this, but I want to encourage people to, because like I said, if you don't know how to code, if you don't want to fork out a website right now, I think this is pretty cool. They do have a pro option for like $48 a year, which is pretty much, I mean, it's everything you need.
Yeah. I just don't know. I mean, it depends on what situation you're in. If you're a podcaster that's just using a blog to post your stuff, and you want to have a really nice looking about me calling card type thing, this is really worth it, I think. For what we do, you know, we have about me pages for each of our hosts. I'm more of the mindset of taking the concept of this and adapting it to that about me page.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still going to keep mine on here. And now that you've said what this is used for, I am going to be exploring. I do like it. I'm just not quite in love. Although, you know, Lilith, this is going to actually lead us into some of our news. One thing that I've really noticed, because I've been doing this, you've been doing it a lot longer than I have, but I've been really, you know, researching social media, testing out platforms, working in this a lot for the last couple years. And one thing I have really noticed is you can't disregard the ones that are hanging on. You have to keep going back to them, thinking about how to use these tools and seeing what other people are doing. I can see that there is something potentially magic in this one that I don't want to discount it. I want to keep exploring it. I'm going to encourage people the same way. This brings me to something that you and I have talked about, not here, but in cyberspace. You're not a big fan of Snapchat. You posted something where you said you don't get it, right?
I feel old. Like, that's the first time that I've ever used social media that's made me feel old. I was just like, what?
Yeah.
What is the point of this? But like, I do see a lot of like the brands that use it. And because a lot of the popular brands are using it, it is actually pushing vertical video, which is something that was kind of frowned upon about a year and a half ago. But Snapchat is making a lot of innovations, and they are really pushing their kind of thing. But I don't get it.
You know, so let's talk about Snapchat for a minute here. So I was in college a few years ago, just a couple of years ago, and it was right when Snapchat had launched. In fact, the month it launched, I had to write a paper, and I used that as my subject. So I really researched the company. It was kind of a case study about it. And I remember writing up, you know, what I thought it could be used for. And at that time, the only brand that was sniffing around about it was Taco Bell. And what they used it for was they encouraged people to take a picture of their food, and then it would just kind of go and disappear. It was like, oh, tell your friends, I'm at Taco Bell. Click. That was all they had going on. All this video stuff that they're doing now didn't exist. The social media aspect of it didn't exist. I hung in there with it, though. I didn't think it was good at all. In fact, I would have predicted this was going to go away, but I did keep an account. I did stay in there. And frankly, in the last 2 months, I found that I'm on Snapchat every single day. Now, I'll tell you why. I don't get it either, Lilith. I'm a lot older than you are. To me, taking a picture, having it go into the ozone, and not being able to have that social interaction like I'm used to is bizarre. And the weirdest thing is, I don't know how much you've used it, but like I was writing to Kelly. Kelly is one of your co-hosts. Mm-hmm. We were doing a little Snapchat thing, testing it out. And she wrote to me, her daughter actually wrote to me about a really cool feature. She's like, oh, try this. And I went, oh, great. And I went out, I tried it. I didn't know how to do it. I went back to read what she said to see what I missed. And of course, it's gone.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, at least Twitter, it has a stream and I can go back and I can read these things, right? It's gone.
Well, that was the beauty of Snapchat because, you know, these younger kids are sending. I mean, that's how it got big is because it's supposed to disappear from the server. So nobody can see what you've done afterwards.
Yeah, but you know what? That's a branding issue. That's why it got the reputation for sexting.
Yes.
And that is a reputation that almost killed this company. I'll tell you what I like about it. It has nothing to do with the taking a picture and sending it to your friends and having it disappear into oblivion. You know what? I prefer Twitter and Instagram for picture exchange. Okay? I'll tell you what I like. Have you experimented with the My Story?
You know, I'm going to give a shout out to Matthew Santoro, who is one of my favorite YouTubers. He was like one of the first people that I ever heard that like was just absolutely enamored with Snapchat and the ability to do the story thing.
The story thing is the whole game. What we're doing, so we do live shows out at the Blue Box Cafe in Elgin every Saturday night. I have now started handing my 8-year-old daughter the phone, and I tell her, she's not on Snapchat, you know, snapping with people. No way, she's 8. We know what's going on Snapchat. I have her take pictures and save it to the My Story. At the end of the night, I take out the ones that are blurry, because you can go through and you can delete them from this thread. That thread of My Story will stay on Snapchat for 24 hours, okay? As you reach 24 hours, the pictures will start disappearing, but it's there for 24. But you can save it. I can save it either as individual pictures or as the complete story. I gotta say, I love that. We've been having her take the Blue Box pictures each week. People keep responding. It's social media fodder. We put it out there. Am I getting it on Snapchat? No. But when I tweet it out, when I put it on Facebook, I'm getting so many responses back. Thank you for sharing. This is cool. Wow, I really get a sense of what's going on. I did it at a library event the other day. We did a Comic-Con at a library. Lots of response. We did it. I did a little thing at a school. They were having Dr. Seuss Day. Lilith, come on. Dr. Seuss Day. How do you not go and podcast that? And I just took pictures of, you know, the environment. They had cheese sticks that they decorated like the cat's hat. It was fantastic. Made a story of the day. They loved it. Followers loved it. It's a great tool. Could you probably do it with other things? Yeah, but I'm not going to sit here with, you know, Photoshop and create a whole story of each thing and spend all that time when I can just use one simple tool to do it. I think that's the magic of Instagram right there.
They do one really cool thing, which is why I initially gave it another try this past week. It's a thing called Tribeca Snapchat Shorts. I'm really into filmmaking, independent filmmaking. You guys know I used to live in New York, and I'm really about that New York area. And, you know, that was something cool that kind of reeled me in, and I was clicking through. But like I said, it has a lot to overcome with their marketing from earlier on that just kind of just, as a PR person, just sticks with me. It's just like first impressions are everything. And that's how I got familiar with Snapchat is like the sexting thing. And I was just like,
The public has the same problem. You know, I'm with you too. The Tribeca thing is actually the thing I'm most excited about. One of the things as a content producer that I have been really exploring is the idea of creating, see, everyone calls it films. It's not films, but creating story through these different platforms. So like, I don't know if you've seen Shield 5 yet, but there's an Instagram movie. It's released in, 10-second bursts, every other day or something. And at the end of 30 days, you have the complete story. It's cool. Do I think it's great? No, I think they're trying something, and I really see something great in it. And I think as a content producer, you could do great with it, just like with Instagram. I'm looking at these My Stories. I'm like, you know what? The ones that are doing it the most effectively right now are the ones that are creating an actual story, not just telling, here's a bunch of pictures of my day, but like with us, this is the story of this night live at the Blue Box. And we're using picture and then occasionally a little clip of video. You can, put text on it. You can put hashtags. It's pretty cool. I'm trying to figure out what more can I do with this tool to tell a story. Another one that does a great job with it. Have you, I don't know if you've ever read Joel Comm or seen his stuff, but he's been all over Snapchat, and he does a great job of every day. He has a different story that he's looking at. And I've been following him, and on one of the, I think he tweeted out that he wakes up and the first thing he thinks about is, what story am I going to tell today? Whether it's, supporting the local dog shelter or what my day looks like, as a content producer. This was the story of my podcast today, or whatever it is. But you know what? It's engaging. And the more storytellers can figure that out, why can't you tell a story through that medium? And once again, you do that, you got content, right?
Definitely. I think another really cool thing that Snapchat does is they basically have their own little QR code when you know what I'm talking about with I thought that was really cool because I see people use that on Twitter. I've seen people use it on Instagram. And so it's like this really cool kind of cross branding that they do. I thought that was really actually one of the smartest things I've seen.
Yeah. That's another example though. Snapchat is one that, in the beginning, it was easy to reject. It had a lot of problems, and it still has a lot of problems. But I think there's a lot there. I think that About.me, there is definitely something here. I can see why they would want to purchase this and try to make something out of it. It's cool. It's like LinkedIn, LinkedIn in the beginning, I tried it, and it was very corporate. And I was having trouble figuring out how to connect the way I needed to with that. Now, I get it. I don't really get anything off of that. I get a lot of connections. I get a lot of people wanting to connect and telling me about connections, and then I get their blog posts, but I'm like, I'm not getting what you would think you would get out of LinkedIn, but I still think it's really good. I think that the key is, Lilith, that we need to be on every single thing every minute of the day.
No. I think that you need to definitely have a wide array of tools, and you need to be aware of how those tools will help you on a daily basis.
Yes. Well, that's something that I'm doing today. So anyone that is in a position like me, whether you have a network or you have a single show or you have a blog, one thing that I fully believe in is not only coming up with trying to come up with some type of social media calendar. That can be really vital for some people. I find it a little hard to stick to. I'm a little too on the other side of the brain for that. But what I am doing today is I've been making a chart of the different platforms, trying to define what content I'm going to share with each. For example, like I said with Snapchat, it's very specifically the stories. I'm not doing it every single day because I don't need to, but I am catering it to certain things. It's always going to have our panel stuff. It's always going to have when we're at a Comic-Con. It's always going to have Blue Box events. And it's going to have occasionally behind the scenes stuff going on of what we do, telling that story. So I think that's key too, is really think about the platforms. What message do you want from Twitter? What message does Instagram give? Instagram is totally most effective when you're sharing fandom or showing a glimpse behind the curtain. You do those two things, you're going to be successful on Instagram. At least that's how I look at it. But we're not doing Instagram today. So Lilith, we got one more little thing here. There was news this week, and you said you wanted to talk about this, and I am ready. Let's hear it.
Meerkat is ditching the live stream and chasing a video social network? I don't understand this. This is like a 1 foot in the grave for them, unfortunately.
Seriously. What? Because that's what you do. Now, they were the darlings of South by Southwest last year. That's how I heard about them. I mean, everybody was pimping it. They were all trying it. I started using it. Let's face it, that would be like if Kleenex said, we're not making facial tissues anymore. We're going into salt and pepper shakers. It's like, what? It doesn't make sense to me.
The thing that hurt Meerkat, I think, is that, Periscope came out and Twitter instantly bought it. And that was just kind of a done deal. But I thought that when they integrated with GoPro, that would kind of keep them afloat, but I guess not.
I thought for sure that was just going to be what it was. I thought that makes so much sense to have a relationship with GoPro and build out from there. But I don't know if they had the infrastructure.
They didn't.
To do what Twitter was able to do with Periscope. Now, what we do when we do our live shows, we stream them live on YouTube Live, Google Plus, which is tied into that, Meerkat, Periscope, and for a while we were doing Twitch as well. It's interesting. Each of them have a very distinct personality. Meerkat is the one, you're going to think this is funny. I haven't told you this yet. That's the one we get the most traffic on. I don't know why. The highest traffic we've had from a single night was on Periscope. We had like 3,000 people watching this one night. We have no idea why. There wasn't a hashtag that was any different. There was nothing. We just hit the ground on that night. But other nights, it's Meerkat. It's steady. We get conversation going. It's like, I don't understand why Meerkat's the one. With them ditching the live aspect, okay, well, we'll just put our efforts towards Periscope. No skin off my teeth, you know? But it's just such a weird move to me. And if they think that making, they're essentially trying to be like video Twitter. And I can't see that being anything different than what's already organically happening across all the different platforms.
I think the nail in the coffin, honestly, for Meerkat was when Facebook decided to do Facebook Live. Like, you just can't have Twitter and Facebook, the two biggest social media brands out there doing what you do.
Right. Unless you do it completely differently, and they're not. It's truly the same kind of thing. I think it kind of comes down to preference, but it's the same thing. And having Twitter behind Periscope, yeah. And you're right, the Facebook Live video. Now, I've not experimented with that yet, and that's one we're going to have to talk about in another show. Have you played with it yet?
No, I'm just going to shout out Stephen Amell because he's literally the reason for Facebook Live. He just, that was his idea. He pitched it to Facebook. I mean, I'm sure there were other people, but he's pretty much the face of that and how that all happened. And I think it's more for celebrities to interact with their fans. I think that's where the biggest numbers come from, but I think it's a handy tool if that's your thing and you have a big enough brand to do a Q&A, enough interest.
Right. Yeah, when I saw it, my first reaction was, this is kind of like Reddit doing its live Reddit thing, only it's on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a big platform, and they are looking to grow all the time. I think that live video on Facebook could end up being really interesting, not just for celebrities, but for content producers. For the average person, we already have, FaceTime.
That's Blab at the moment, honestly. So there's lots of exciting things. And, if you don't have the infrastructure to, pivot quickly in this industry, yeah, you're going to be lunch.
Yeah. And you know what? We're going to have to talk about Blab at another time, too, because my gosh, do I love Blab.
Definitely. But I'm sorry to hear that about Meerkat.
I am too. Well, Lilith, let's cut this one. It was Social Media Monday. We will be back next Monday with more. And I don't even know what we're going to talk about. I'm so excited to get into the next one. We could just do this all day, but we're not going to. We're going to keep these so that you can listen to it on your way to work or whatever and kind of get inspired for the week and try stuff out. One more time, Lilith, let's get out any way people can get in contact with you.
The best way to get a hold of me is on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. On Tumblr, it's lilithhellfire.tumblr.com. And of course, you can always email me, lilithhellfire@lilithhellfire.com. And if you guys are on Reddit, you guys can just inbox me, Lilith Hellfire.
Well, and you missed the biggest one, about.me/Lilith Hellfire.
I need to update this.
And you can find me at R Southgate. You can find the company at SMG Pods. We have Facebook pages and Instagram and everything. Just look for Southgate Media Group or look for Rob Southgate and about.me/Rob Southgate. There you go. We'll be back in a couple of days with the regular New Media Lab. We've got a really good guest this week. It's a lot of fun. I don't want to reveal who. I batched a whole bunch of shows, and they're all so cool. I can't wait for this one. You guys are going to love it. It's really cool. So there you go. We will talk to you in a few days. Until then, keep creating.